Do you guys ever sit down to watch Smackdown and 45 minutes later, you realize nothing has happened? Not one memorable moment, not one segment worth replaying, just filler? Because that's what Smackdown has become in 2026. A 3-hour endurance test littered with ads, disguised as a wrestling show. And you know what the crazy part about this is? This is the same show that used to beat Raw. This is the same show that used to feel must watch. And now it can barely stay competitive with AEW. So what happened? And more importantly, why does it feel like WWE doesn't even care? Let's get one thing straight. This isn't blind hate. This isn't nostalgia bias. This is pattern recognition. Because if you've been watching SmackDown lately, you already know the formula. You get one good segment, maybe two if you're lucky, and then a whole lot of nothing. Dragged out matches, repetitive promos, pointless backstage segments, all stretched across 3 full hours. Let's start with the biggest issue here. 3 hours. SmackDown was never built for 3 hours. Raw, sure, it's always been bloated, but SmackDown thrived because it was tight, focused, and efficient. It gave you the good stuff without wasting your time. Now, it feels like WWE took a 2-hour show and just poured water into it to fill the extra hour. And it shows, man. Matches go longer than they should, but feel less meaningful. Promos get dragged out, but say less. Segments repeat because they need to fill time. This isn't storytelling. This is stalling. And it gets even worse because the problem isn't just the length. It's what they're doing with that time. Let me ask you something. How many times have you seen the same match just slightly rearranged? Same people, same outcomes, same directions, week after week. It's predictable. And when things become predictable, it becomes skippable. You already know who's winning. You already know how it ends. So why watch? And this is where SmackDown is losing people. Because there's no urgency, man. No stakes. No reason to care. Here's the trick WWE is pulling right now. They give you one strong segment. Maybe a big promo. Not saying it's going to be a good promo. Let's get that straight. Maybe even a surprise return. Maybe a solid main event. And they hope that one moment carries the entire show. But it usually doesn't. Because everything around it feels like filler. So now people don't watch SmackDown Live. They wait. They go on YouTube. They watch the one segment that mattered and skip the rest of the show. That's not a healthy show, man. That's a highlight reel. And this is where things start getting embarrassing. Because SmackDown didn't just fall off. It fell off while something else was rising. There was a time when SmackDown was beating Raw. Let that sink in, guys. SmackDown was the better show. It had better pacing, better stories, and better energy. And now it's struggling to separate itself from AEW in viewership, depending on the week. And sometimes it doesn't. And that should be a massive red flag because WWE has every advantage. The bigger platform, the bigger budget, the bigger history. So if you're even in the same conversation, that's not a win. That's a warning. Here's the deeper issue. SmackDown doesn't know what it is anymore. Raw has its chaos. NXT has its development focus. But SmackDown? What is it supposed to be, man? Because right now, it feels like a watered-down version of everything else. There's no unique vibe, no clear direction, just content. And fans can feel that, and they are starting to check out completely. And don't even get me started on the roster, man. Because the talent is not the problem. You've got stars, you've got potential. You've got people who could be carrying entire storylines, but instead, they are stuck in pointless matches, random feuds, or worse, not being used at all. That's not a talent issue. That's a booking issue. And this next part, this is where longtime fans really start checking out. SmackDown used to feel important. Like if you missed it, it was like you missed something big. And now, you can skip 3 hours, come back, and nothing has changed. Same feuds, same promos, same outcomes. There is no progression. And without progression, there is no reason to invest. I mean, fans aren't stupid. They adapt. So what are they doing now? Skipping matches. They're just watching clips on YouTube. Checking results instead of watching live. That's disengagement, man. And once fans get comfortable doing that, it's very hard to bring them back. So now you've got a show that is too long, too repetitive, lacking identity, and wasting talent, and losing viewership. And somehow, WWE is acting like everything is just fine, handy-dandy. Here's the truth nobody wants to say. SmackDown isn't struggling because it's unlucky. It's struggling because it's lazy. Not an effort, but an execution. They're relying on brand power. They're relying on habit. They're relying on the idea that fans will watch anyway. But that's not true anymore, man. Because fans have options now. And if SmackDown doesn't respect their time, they'll just go somewhere else that does. So now, SmackDown isn't completely dead. But right now, it's not good enough either. Not for 3 hours. Not for the roster it has. Not for what it used to be. And until WWE fixes that, this show will keep bleeding relevance. Week after week. Because at the end of the day, wrestling fans don't ask for perfection, man. They ask for a reason to care. And right now, SmackDown isn't giving them a reason to care. But what do you guys think? Am I being too harsh, or is SmackDown actually becoming unwatchable? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you made it this far, you already know, man, hit that subscribe button, because we're just getting started. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.